There is another exercise that I wanted us to embark upon, sir. Unfortunately, I need to inquire from the state through the court of court, Manos. My lord, I think it's almost 2 weeks. If my memory serves me well, it could be last week, Monday. I just can't remember the date well. I requested the state because there was a technician that was working on the uploading of certain photos on the system there. Then I requested the state to assist me, because that would form part of my cross-examination to Lieutenant Colonel, to upload certain photos onto the system. I am not so sure, and I specifically showed them what photos would I have requested to be loaded into the system. So I'm not so sure whether those photos were loaded. And I specifically indicated to them the format in which those photos need to be loaded into the system. And the technician who was there, he said, no, that is quite possible. And then I left it there. I'm not so sure whether that has been done, because that is going to end of my cross-examination. Thank you.
Mr. Baloyi?
When we went through the database, we couldn't find those specific photos, but we do have a complete digitized photo album of Colonel Mnisi. I don't know if council wants to use any of those photos. We'll be able to show them on the screen.
Wait a minute. Wait a minute. You're telling me this whole time that Baloyi has been objecting left, right, and center to anything that what Advocate Mnisi requests or is doing throughout his cross-examination? You're telling me Baloyi has been so hot and heavy on Mnisi when he has homework from 2 weeks ago that was very specific, very detailed, to the point from Mnisi, and he hasn't done it? He hasn't done it? Oh, shame on you, Mr. State Representative. But you know what? I think Mnisi knew this. Mnisi knew this, and he said, you know what? I've had it with you. I have had it with you. You've interrupted me multiple times during my cross-examination, and you know the procedure. You are supposed to wait until you can re-examine your useless witness. But you know what? I digress. You know what? I'm going to get you. I am going to get you. You just sit here and wait. And when the moment is right, I, the Lord, I am just kidding. But this is crazy. Shame on you, Baloyi. And when I saw him sitting like this, like a kid in a corner, caught, I knew it because he looked like he had his hand in the cookie jar. And I was like, why is Baloyi not giving us that confident look? Huh? Disappointing right there. But you know what? The state is having a hard time. This has been their toughest cross-examination to date. Should we blame Dave for this? Or should we thank Dave for this? Let me know in the comment section down below. And let's continue listening on.
I did not get that, Mala.
He's saying the photos which the state has in possession of, they are in digital form. And Colonel Ntlantla,
Yes.
Mahlasho,
Yes, Colonel
Mhlasho, yeah, is the person who digitalized them.
Yes, we also have digitized photos of the photo album of Colonel Mangena.
Yes, that's what the response is.
Those are the photos that I actually requested that they should be loaded into the system. I didn't ask that whether they are digitalized photos or what. I specifically requested and directed them to specific photos to be loaded into the system, because that is going to constitute my next segment, the next segment of my cross-examination to this witness. And it was never indicated to me that won't be possible. But from the word of the technician that the state was working with, that was quite possible. It was actually a 5-minute thing, even lesser. I inquired with the state, I think it was on Monday, whether that has been done. I can't remember the answer that I got, my lords.
Can we just have the photos, my lord, so that we can just recheck again? That should.
Thank you. I can tell them the photo numbers. I can give them the photo numbers. On the photo album of in exhibit 13A, which is the affidavit of Lieutenant Colonel Mangena.
You are able to bring them through your digitalized equipment.
Yes, our laptop is just frozen. Can you just take a 5-minute break? Apparently it's now up and running.
Yes, Mr. Baloyi.
The exhibits that we have that council wants to refer to, which is exhibit X13 in brackets A, the affidavit of Lieutenant Colonel Mangena, consists of the photos of the scene as well as photos taken at the mortuary. It was commissioned on the 5th of November 2014 by Lieutenant Colonel Solomon Modisani.
Yes, the state is repeating exactly what I've said, my lord, but that does not seem to assist us, because I'm saying my colleague that is seated next to me here, Advocate Numalo, has his copy commissioned on the 5th of July 2017. Yes. Now, the one that I have is commissioned on the 5th of November 2014. That there's a lot of discrepancies in this affidavit, my lord. So I don't know now if I'm going to proceed on which affidavit must I then proceed on. The one that is in because both of them are from the state. The one that is in possession of my colleague Advocate Numalo, or the one that is in my possession.
My lord, I don't know why we should have this debate. Council is in possession of the affidavit dated 5 November 2014. That's the one that he should proceed on. All council were given the same exhibits, and this is the exhibit that was marked exhibit 13A. All of them should have the same exhibit, and that is the exhibit that he should proceed on.
The state does not seem to understand the gist of and the imperative of what is happening here, my lord. I cannot proceed on a document simply because the state says I must proceed on. This is an affidavit. It's something that was made under oath, my lord.
Yeah, but Mr. Baloyi says you can proceed on.
But that is the problem. If I proceed on the one that I have.
Which is one? It was commissioned on the one he says you can proceed on is the one commissioned on the 5th of November 2014.
But then the state does not explain that discrepancy, my lord.
What discrepancy?
The discrepancy that mine is commissioned on a different date and the one that is in possession of my colleague here is commissioned on a different date.
And the contents are not the same.
Yes, can we just have the document that Advocate Numalo says is called? Because
it doesn't say. It is a document that says that. It's
sorry.
The document.
Mr. Baloyi, did you supply that document to Mr. Numalo?
I just want to have a look at it. Yes, it's exactly the same exhibit, my lord. Exactly the same photo. I think what might have happened is perhaps the last page. on which the affidavit was commissioned could have been attached by a different page, could have been attachment, but the content is exactly the same.
So the two documents are similar.
Yes, exactly the same.
My lord, as I said, there were different teams which were investigating this. The
Yeah.
original is the one that was signed on the 5th of November. That is in the docket. So at one stage, some of the investigating officers came to my office. They were requesting for it. I said, it's in the docket. They said, we don't have that docket. Can you just give us another statement and then sign it on this date so that we have it? It might be one of those reports.
So the one which was commissioned on the 5th of July.
On the 5th of
July.
November 2014.
Sorry, on the 5th of November, fine. And then subsequently, some of the investigating officers came seeking
Looking for the
affidavit.
affidavit and said they want the affidavit. And I told them that it's in the docket, but they said they can't find the docket because there were different teams which were investigating. It might be because of on that day they came. I could have signed maybe another docket for them to do an investigation.
So you made two affidavits.
They are the same. It's exactly the same thing.
Yeah, okay, let's proceed, Mr. Mnisi. They say those documents are the same. It's the same document, duplicated.
These documents are not the same, my lord. And I'm going to implore the state to come up very openly. These documents are not the same. I'm going to give the state these documents, both of them, so that the state can go through these documents and make up their minds.
I'll give Advocate Numalo my copy. He can my colleague. So
That does not how it works, my lord. This is not how it works. We just don't throw things around here. We're working on a base of explanations here. What happened? If it needs be, then there could be a trial within a trial in respect of this document. But it does not work like I just give Advocate Numalo my copy so he can work on it. It does not work out like that. Otherwise, it's a strict procedure.
Which document did you receive? Which document did you yourself receive?
Who?
You.
I received Exhibit 13A, my lord. Exhibit X 13A.
Which was commissioned on?
Which was commissioned on the 5th of November 2014.
Okay. The deponent to this document, which is commissioned on the 5th of October 2014, is who?
It's Captain, I don't see,
I
can't see, I can't read this. Oh, it's Captain Simangel.
Mangena, yeah, fine.
No, it's Captain.
Captain Mangena.
Yes.
Is there somebody like that?
It's me, man.
Oh, okay, fine. And then the other document which you say you don't understand why it's there, is it commissioned on the 5th of July 2017?
The state took it, my lord.
Yeah, but is it commissioned on the 5th of July 2017?
Yes. 27. I don't know what the date is, my lord. The state is in possession of that document.
Which date was it commissioned on, that document?
it's 5th July 2017.
Yeah, 5th July 2017. And who's the deponent in that document?
The deponent, it's Colonel Mangena, Lieutenant Colonel Mangena.
Yeah, okay.
It consists of exactly 22 pages, just as with the other documents. So as the witness has just explained, the only difference is the commissioning part, but it's exactly the same.
Okay, yeah, let's go on, Mr. Mnisi. Say that those two documents are in fact one document.
I did not get that, my lord.
No, so you can continue.
Oh, okay, no,
They say-
thank you, my lord. If the court is ruling that this document constitutes one document, then I don't know.
Yeah, they say so.
We've checked it page for page, man.
Page for page.
Exactly
Same
the same
document.
Except that
It just fits in maybe with the explanation the panel has given that a second similar statement was made because the initial one was not traceable at that stage.
That's correct, madam.
Yeah, let's go on because
Thank you, my lord.
it's one document.
Thank you, my lord.
If there are any differences, cross-examine on both documents because here's the witness.
Thank you, my lord.
Right?
May I then be assisted with those photos? Now, what I requested, my lord, is that those photos should be beamed side by side. In other words, they must stand parallel. I don't know if the state will be in a position to do that, but the technician that was assisting them that other day said, no, that is very simple, you could do it.
18,
12. Let's go with 12.
So you only need one photo to be beamed, and that is photo number 12.
Just a second. It's photo number 19. Muhlahlo, not Musia. Muhlahlo's photo album, photo number 19.
So this photo, are you saying it was taken by Warrant Officer Mhlahlo?
Madam, I'm not so sure whether the state is doing what I requested them to do because they're only beaming one photo and then they're keeping quiet. I'm not so sure whether they're still trying to get the other one that I said should also be beamed side or on the side of this.
Is it possible to beam both of those photos?
Maybe if we take the short adjournment at this stage, Monot, let's see if we can get the technician to do that, Monot.
What's the time?
It's 4 minutes to 11. We can resume at 11:15.
So Baloyi messed up. Mnisi Unfiltered finally gets his payback, and it is called I am petty. I am petty, petty, petty. And I want my photos beamed the exact way I asked you to do it 2 weeks ago. And now you're just sitting there, you're just putting up one, but I told you I want them side by side. What is going on in Judge Ratta's courtroom? And guess what? Guess what I noticed? Had it been the defense that was not ready, that had mixed up the paperwork, that had fumbled the bag, Judge Ratta would have been throwing his fingers up and down, throwing his hands, swearing at them, telling them about black lawyers. But hey, here's the black prosecutor, Advocate Baloyi. What was that? Oh my goodness. I think, Mnisi held strong. He said, I do not care. Okay. I want my photos the exact same way I want it because I am moving into my next segment. Okay. In my segment, I need them in that specific way. What do you want me to do? Build this a plane while it is flying? Absolutely not. I am Advocate Mnisi, representing accused number 3, the one who allegedly had the gun, Mr. Mncube. And I'm not here to play. I am not here to play. But you know what? I am over digressing. Let's move on to after recess. Will Baloyi get it right? And where is Mnisi's apology, Baloyi? Shame on you.
They don't come from me. Do you understand? So I cannot simply decide not to convey the instructions that are from my client to a witness, my lord. Remember, this case is not it's not about me, it's about him. And I find no offense, my lord, in putting this version to this witness, because that is what, if circumstances permit, or if circumstances were to warrant, he will come and tell this court. I'm not so sure whether, my lord, I should continue putting his version to this witness, or should I then discontinue?
You are counsel. You must decide what you want to do.
As it pleases the court, madam, I'm going to decide to proceed to put the version.
Just before you put furthermore, this witness is testified, and it's not our recollection that this version was put
Which
to those
are you talking about, Mr.
Damini and Masondo.
Yeah, both of them testified.
Yes.
And this assertion was never put to both of them.
That is our recollection.
Because they alleged that with the informer in Cleveland on that street, when they saw this gentleman accompanied by his girlfriend
Yes.
in a car, they followed, and then the gentleman, in this case, got into the house.
Yes. Indeed,
And then they arrested him, searched him, gave them permission and found the firearm there.
Yes, there is
And
extent
when they
of
testified here,
Yes.
they never said anything about what is here today. It's fine. It's okay.
Indeed.
Listen.
As it pleases the court, my lord, R versus Hepworth.
No, I said you can proceed.
Thank
I'm
you,
not
my
stopping
lord.
you.
Yes. It really does not mean, my lord, that if this version was never put to those two witnesses, it cannot be put now. If circumstances were to arise, we are going to make an application and request the court to recall them. And if the court were not to be amenable in recalling them in terms of section 186, we are going to call them as our witnesses.
Yeah, you can call that witness,
got
no
that
problem.
very open to opposite.
Yes.
Yes. Thank you, my lord.
Okay.
That was just number one. And number two, they also told him that because they also investigated his cell phone, they also found that his cell phone was not near the scene at the time at which it is alleged that this offense was committed. I'm requesting an indulgence, man, just to remind me one thing. I think there's something that I'm skipping that Mr. Mnube told me. May I take instructions?
Yeah. You can take instructions.
Oh, thank you, madam. Thank you.
I can't stop you.
Thank you. Thank you for the indulgence, my lord. Further on, Lieutenant Colonel, Mr. Mnube is reminding me that there was a list of cases. I think that is when you were cross-examined by my colleague, Mr. Ngomezulon Plahal, for accused number one, where you read into record a list of cases that were investigated in relation to the firearm that was allegedly found in his possession. I think that list was also handed in as an exhibit. I can't just remember that exhibit, but what I can remember is that at the very first bottom, at the very first top of that list, thank you, on page one, I think that is the affidavit that comprises of 27 pages. That was prepared by Yashni Belinda Paul. You were requested to read into record the list of those cases that were investigated to find out if possibly the firearm allegedly found in his possession could also not be involved in those list of cases. But what I've noted is that you started by reading that the second case, which is the Sassolberg case, you omitted Foslora's case 636. I'm not so sure whether that was done purposefully or it was a mistake, but nonetheless, my instructions from him are that where are those results of this case, of these cases that you read into record, and whether or not his firearm was also found to have been involved in the list of these cases that you read into record, including that case 63610 of 2014, as per the affidavit of Yashni Belinda Paul.
My Lord, I'll start with the Yashni. There was a list of cases that I have read. I said the bullet in this case, there was a request to compare the bullet in this case, the first Loras case, with those cases starting with the Sassolberg case and the Ivanda, and Yashni Paul did the comparison. The copy that we have is the report from Yashni Paul, where she did the comparison. So it was not to be done by myself, it was done by Yashni Paul.
Oh, okay.
And secondly, on the request, if you look at the request, it's sent to IBIS for comparison.
Yes.
The cases are mentioned there to be compared to First Loras 363 of 2014 is also in the list. My Lord, I have explained how IBIS work. As I said, with IBIS system, the integrated ballistics identification system, if it's pistols, we acquire only cartridge cases on the system. We don't acquire the bullets. So in this case, First Loras 636 of 10, there are no cartridge cases, it's only a bullet.
Okay.
So when they did a comparison, they compared the firearm with cases where they were cartridge cases. There was no link between this firearm, and that's how they based this link, because there was no cartridge case and there was only bullet. And with this firearm, there was no bullet acquired from the system.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir. Now, finally, this is what Mr. Mnube will come and tell this court. If needs be, he would say he was never involved in the commission of this offense.
My lord, I have linked the bullet that was recovered at the crime scene with the firearm.
He will also say he never was in possession of this firearm on this date.
I cannot comment on that, my lord.
Ngeke kwazi uphawula ngalokho.
He will further say that as per the state's allegation, on this day on which this offense was committed, he was never near the scene with Mr. Sibia, Mr. Ntanzi, Mr. Mapisa, Mr. Ntuli as well, at the scene.
No comment, my lord.
Sorry, how do you phrase the assertion, Mr. Mnisi? How did you phrase it?
I'm saying at the scene.
Yeah, you're fine. He will say he was never at the scene with some other people.
Let me repeat it, madam.
Yes, the way you said it. Because you mentioned the names of Tanzi, Mapisa, Sebea.
Yes, those are accused before court, madam.
Yeah, I just want to clear my mind that you are saying that. You are saying that.
Yes.
He will say.
If needs be.
Yeah, fine. If needs be, he will say.
Yes, he will come and say he was never ever at the scene, as it is alleged by the state in their indictment with Mr. Sibia, Mr. Ntanzi, Mr. Mapisa, and Mr. Ntuli.
Okay, fine.
Thank you, madam. You said you don't have a comment.
No comment, my lord.
Good, yes.
Yebo anginaphawula kulokho.
Finally, he will say that he will stick to his version that is supported in terms of the cell phone investigations that were presented by the state as per the testimony of Mrs. Vitilingam.
Alizoqhubeka ke athi yena ke usekelwa uhlaziyo olwenziwa emafonini olwenziwa Miss Vitilingam uthi wayengekho endaweni yesigameko.
No comment.
Angiphawuli lutho.
Thank you, sir. Malot, may I quickly approach Mr. Ngube to find out if there's anything that I've left out? Thank you, Malot.
If need be, he will come and he will say he was never ever at the crime scene. He would say he was never involved in the commissioning of this offense. He will also say he never was in possession of this firearm on this date. He will further say, as per the state's allegation, he was never near the scene with Mr. Sibia, Mr. Ntanzi, Mr. Mapisa, and Mr. Ntuli. Again, we hear Mnisi humanizing the 5 accused and calling them by their name and not by the accused number. Finally, Mnisi goes on and says he will say he will stick to his version that is supported by the cell phone investigations that were presented by the state itself. Mnisi, you're petty! Under the testimony of the state. And if it may please the court, my lord, R versus Hepworth, like Mnisi was throwing blows left, right, and center, representing his client, Mr. Ngube. And you know what? Mr. Ngube, on his own too, was calling his legal representative, Advocate Charles Mnisi, and saying, say this as well. Where are the results of the gun test that they did on the gun they're alleging I had in possession? And you know what? I did not have that gun on that date over there at the Spaza house. So what are these people saying about me? Mzansi, this has been an epic display of Black Excellence by Advocate Charles Mnisi. Make sure you drop the rain clouds for Mnisi Wemvula down in the comment section down below. But before you leave, you've got to hear his closing line. You have got to hear it.
As it please the court, my lord. Maybe just before we wrap, a bit of an extension. Further on, accused number, not accused, Mr. Ngube would further tell this court that on the day of the occasioning of the incident, he never knew accused number 1 and accused number 2. We only started to know them when they were brought to court at, is it Boxbeck, at Springs, in Boxbeck, yes.
No comment on that, Mama.
Thank you very much, Lieutenant Colonel.
Thank you, sir.
Have a bright future. Thank you, sir.